Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, February 15th, 2022. This is live stream 753. It's your first time joining me. Let me point out, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then taking a look at a tabletop game. Tonight, we're actually going to be taking a look at two old school essentials adventures. We're going to be looking at Hideous Daylight and Temple of 1,000 Swords. Both of these are written by Brad Kerr, and they are from Swordlords Publishing, which you can get these over at Exalted Funeral and, of course, DriveThruRPG as well. So if this is also, like I said, your first time hanging out, we will talk about the tabletop gaming news first before we jump into the adventures. So it'll be about 30 minutes or so before we pop on in. If you're watching live, just kick back, hang out. And of course, if you are watching 30 minutes or more after the stream ends, there are timestamps for you to just jump ahead if you want to just dive right into the first looks at the adventures and take a pass on the news. Although there's a lot of cool news today. Always is. There's always cool tabletop gaming news here on the Dispatch. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. It'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as my first look at the One Ring core rulebook. Yes, dove on in. This is hitting stores, I want to say it's March 22nd. There is an embargo on reviews right now until March 22nd as well. So keep that in mind. But if you are curious what is in the One Ring second edition from Free League Publishing, by all means, check out that video. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you do have to be a subscriber to the channel for 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, too. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in, and I will do my best to respond. So far, kind of quiet chat. The Madman, yes. The Motor City Madman, who is not Ted Nugent, thankfully, is here in chat with us. He is one of our chat moderators as well. So let's jump on into the news because I've got a good deal of news today. And we've got two OSC adventures to take a peek at. So let's get... Oh, of course. No, I was going to say Sarah D pops in and says, oh, I'll peek out so the Madman doesn't feel alone. All right, let's get chopping with this. Coming from Green Couch Games is Darwinauts. Here's the scoop. Congratulations. After decades of hard work, scientists have opened a portal to another dimension filled with alien life. You are one of the few brave enough to venture into this exciting but dangerous new land to research and record new species. The world watches to see the discoveries that will be uncovered. The media has dubbed you and your comrades the Darwinauts for daring to go beyond to record the new origins of species. You must work quickly to bring back records of the most exotic life forms to secure your place in history. But be careful, the portal is unstable and won't remain open for long. The rift is coming. During the course of Darwinauts, a player takes 2 actions on their turn, selecting from 5 possible actions. Place an explorer, place a tile, replenish tiles, and remove explorers. Discover a species and record a species. When recording a species, the player immediately takes one of 5 possible bonus actions that allow the player to set themselves up for future turns or after the landscape. Players continue to take turns until the rift tile is revealed, making the portal to the new world unstable. Once the rift begins, players add an additional phase to their turns, taking part in dismantling the landscape they have opened up for exploration. The game comes to a close as they race to complete their tasks and return home. When the game ends, players receive prestige points for their recorded species, and bonuses are earned for specializing in special sets of species. The Darwinout with the most points wins the game and goes down in history as a pioneer in this new age of discovery. Darwinauts is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays around 30 to 45 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $44.95 when it arrives in April. Well. I have to say, from my experience, and I've got to be honest, I've only played 1 game from Green Couch Games. But I believe they tend to usually focus on lighter games, faster playing games. I think this is actually possibly the meatiest of the games that they've released to this point. I honestly think that this is probably the heaviest weight, I guess I'll say, just from what it looks like. But could be kind of cool. Once again, it is arriving in April and will carry an MSRP of $44.95. On to the next news piece, but first, Disavowed 92 has joined us in chat. Good to see you, Disavowed. Madman says, very colorful artwork. Yeah, I found the artwork to actually have been what drew my attention to this game. As for the actual gameplay, not a clue. Hitting stores later this year from Rio Grande Games is Space Station Phoenix. Here's the skinny. The Galactic Council is considering expansion into a recently discovered solar system. See, it's all about discovery today. One with a yellow dwarf star and some interesting looking planets, including one that holds a species that could soon develop the technology required to join them. Before establishing a permanent home in the system, the Council needs a space station as a base of operations. There are lucrative government contracts to be awarded, and the player who can build the best station will have the inside track. You have assembled a ragtag fleet of ships. They don't look like much, but they contain the one thing you need to build the station: metal. You'll need to dismantle this fleet one ship at a time to get it. Each time you turn a vessel into metal, your options become more limited. Space Station Phoenix is a worker placement and resource management game set in one of Earth's possible futures. I think that's a very bizarre way of presenting this. One of Earth's possible futures. No, It is a fictional setting. It's not a possible future. The players are representatives of the Galactic Council, thus it being a fictional setting, sent to Earth to build space stations to observe and perhaps interact with humanity. Players begin the game with 9 ships in a station hub. These ships act as action spaces that players use to gather resources, explore the nearby planets, and build their stations. Turns are fast and straightforward. Either take a ship action or take income. Many games start players off with a small resource engine, which they build up to a bigger one. In Space Station Phoenix, players start with the best production engine they will ever have and proceed to break it down part by part. As the game progresses, their actions get more efficient, but the number of ways to take those actions starts to diminish. Space Station Phoenix also features deep replayability with millions of possible starting positions and station parts combinations. Space Station Phoenix is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 90 to 120 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $79.95 when it arrives later this year. I've seen it say coming soon, and then I have also heard that we're looking at Q3 or later. So to me, that's not necessarily coming soon. Sarah says they've been told that talking to yourself is seen as odd by some, but does not mind it herself. But she didn't want the madman to feel odd. So Sarah asks, how do I know it's not one of Earth's possible futures? Maybe the creators are psychic. Maybe the creators are taking themselves a little too seriously. Okay, Mark Simonich's North Africa 41 has made the cut for GMT Games on their P500 pre-order system. And here's the latest from the designer himself. North Africa 41 is a game that represents the campaign in North Africa from Rommel's first offensive in March 1941 to December 1941. Combat units represent regiments, brigades, and battalions. Each game turn represents half a month, but a game turn is further divided into 3 impulses representing 4 to 5 days. This is a complete redo of my old design, The Legend Begins, which was first published 30 years ago by Rhino Game Company. Everything has been redone. New map, new order of battle research, and improved rules using many of the ideas developed in Stalingrad 43, Holland 44, and Salerno 43. The map and unit scale from the old game remains the same, as well as some of the rules. There are still limited and active zones of control, tank shifts, coastal shipping between ports, multi-convoy rules, port destruction and repair, and resource points. Resource points are used to build or purchase assets that are in limited supply, such as air support, battleship convoy escort, air transport, and temporary full participation of the Italian army. The basic game system borrows heavily from other games in the World War II 19XX series, but there are no zone of control bonds in this game. Only the zones of control of motorized units stop enemy movement. Units can move past non-motorized units by paying 2 additional movement points to exit each zone of control. New rules have been added to enhance excitement and prevent perfect plans. Event tables, delay markers, strafing, Rommel movement bonus, and the long-range desert group. The game will include 3 scenarios: the campaign game, Battle Axe, and Crusader. North Africa 41 is for 2 players, ages 14 and up. Right now, you can pre-order it for $42. The eventual MSRP will be $65. And once again, this has made the cut on the P500. I think it's at 900 and change, if I remember correctly. I think that's how many pre-orders there are already. So this is going to go to the printer. It's going to go off to China and come back on the slow boats. Sarah says she worked at Walmart for a few years. A 30-plus year employee once told her it's okay to talk to yourself It's even okay to argue. The problem comes when you start losing the arguments. That's pretty funny. I like that. That is pretty funny. On to some role-playing game news, because Osprey Games has actually revealed a trio of new role-playing games, as well as a supplement for one of their more popular role-playing games. They're going to arrive this year. Here's the skinny on one of them. It is Grand I think it's Mechanissimo. Mechanissimo? That is my guess. Madman says I keep checking back for more Tank Duel expansions. I think they just had one recently. I could have swore GMT just finished one up on a P500. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I believe it's pronounced Gran Mechanismo? I don't know. It's clock punk Renaissance role playing. Here's what I know, even though I can't pronounce it correctly. A role playing game of fantastical inventions and Machiavellian politics in Renaissance Italy. Sure, I can pronounce all those words. It is the year of our Lord 1510, and no one has to wonder how differently history could have played out if Niccolo Machiavelli, the military commissioner of the Republic of Florence, had not understood the true scale of Leonardo da Vinci's genius. In such a world, the visionary might simply have wasted his time painting portraits of women and doodling in a sketchbook. Instead, he unleashed a technological revolution where primitive computers, decorated with delicately painted cupids, run on water clocks. Spring-powered tanks whir above the battlefield, with cannons thundering from their flanks, and gliders flit across a perfectly blue Tuscan sky. Gran Mechanismo. Maybe it's Mechanismo. I'll say that. Gran Mechanismo is a role-playing game of swashbuckling swordplay, where Florence's winding alleys swarm with sinister Venetian spies and Milanese mercenaries as an army of robot knights marches past on their way to the Vatican. Players are mercenary spies and inventors amidst a Renaissance Italy where they may find themselves crossing wits with Machiavelli, avoiding the charms of Lucretia Borgia, and hearing Christopher Columbus tell you about the new world he has discovered. Grand Mechanismo is slated for a 2022 release. I'm guessing later in the year. Don't have any sort of MSRP yet. I'm going to take a stab. It's going to be their kind of A5, a little bigger than A5 size hardcovers. And I'll take a guess we're going to see the usual MSRP, which is $35 for the role-playing games that they have released. Gotta say, this sounds pretty interesting. Like I said, there are 3. I am going to be sharing a news piece for each of the brand new role-playing games. And I will actually post a news piece on the website for the expansion, which is for Jackals, the Bronze Age role-playing game that has actually done pretty well for Osprey. And I'm glad to see it being supported. One of the things I'm a little concerned with, a little curious about, I guess I'd say, is how well are these role-playing games going to be supported? Because Osprey has released a number of role-playing games where all they've released is essentially the core book, and that's it. So, but this sounds pretty unique. It sounds pretty interesting. I would hope that this would be more rules light, more geared towards possibly a more like a storytelling game as opposed to being extra crunchy. All right, on to the last news piece, available in print and PDF right now from Dungeon Masters Guild, is the 5e Archvillain Archive. I've got the dope. A dark mage, defiant to the gods. A marauding warrior bent on conquest. A true knight, twisted by grief into something cruel. This book contains them all and many more. This collection of characters, designed by some of the most prolific designers of 5e D&D content houses the perfect arch villain for your next campaign. Each villain comes complete with backstory, motivations, and a full stat block. With challenge ratings from 15 to 30, yowza, 30, you can always find something to suit your game. But be warned, these villains don't hold back. The Archvillain Archive contains 29 original Archvillains, each ready to become your next big bad. Characters across every challenge rating from 15 to 30, each with legendary and or mythic actions. 36 new items and 3 new spells to be given as rewards against these fearsome foes. Writing and editing by some of the top DMs Guild creators. Heighton Dave, Noah Grand, Brittany Hay, Brian Holmes, ERF Jordan, Alexis Lewis, Cassandra McDonald, Stephen Pancadai, and Val Serene. Sorry, I guarantee I messed up people's names here. Layout and art direction is done by best-selling DM's Guild creator and Rime of the Frost Maiden co-author Anne Gregerson. The 103-page archive is available from, once again, DM's Guild in hardcover for $24.99, softcover for $19.99, or in PDF alone for $14.99. I would say the best deal on that would probably go for the softcover. Get a softcover, and I do believe maybe you don't get the PDF. Maybe you don't. I can't remember if this one included the PDF or not with the hardcover or softcover purchase. If not, it's usually $5. It's usually what they tack on top. All right, so we've got Zorak Zoran. Number 1 is in chat with us. Joseph DeBar and Russell Higgins. Small Apartment Gamer is swinging on in. I believe this is the first time appearance from SAG. And I don't mean the Screen Actors Guild. I mean Small Apartment Gamer. So welcome aboard, everybody. That is the news for tonight. Once again, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Well, actually, talking about DM's Guild. Same difference. But the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, Dungeon Masters Guild, stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. I know people sometimes ask, well, you usually just have banner ads for DriveThruRPG. What if I'm not going to DriveThruRPG? What if I'm going to Storyteller's Vault or DM's Guild? You can still use those banner ads when you get to DriveThruRPG. If you scan down on the lower left, it lists all the One Bookshelf sites. If you go to, say, DM's Guild from there, the affiliate code stays with you. So I will still get credit for a little commission, like a nickel off of your purchase. So, hey, I got to say, a lot of people out there, they use the banner ads, and it really does help keep the website around. Also should point out, if you like this video, if you like the channel, if you dig thegaminggang.com, if you just like what I do, you can always buy me a cup of coffee or some soda by going over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And most recently, the madman himself swung by paypal.me and made a donation. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, sir. I know the madman's real name, but I'm unable to reveal it. I can't give his secret identity away. So so there's more discussion about talking to themselves. Sweet. All right, I'm going to be jumping in and taking a look at 2 old school essential adventures in just a quick moment. One thing, Omanal has joined us in chat. Good to see you, Omanal. On tomorrow's show, because I've had people ask, what does the gaming gang actually bring in from YouTube? And I am more than happy to discuss that on tomorrow's show. So, got to remember, this is not a big channel by any stretch of the imagination. So, I know, granted, we're closing in on 6,500 subscribers, but the vast majority of those subscribers don't watch videos. I don't know why they subscribed. I know some of them subscribed to try to, win D&D books and stuff like that when I would do giveaways and stuff, but not all 6,500. So I think we're at 6,450, something like that. But yeah, I'll share what it is, and you'll be extremely disappointed. So Sarah says, give her a couple months. There'll be a chat full of lurkers who mumble to themselves in their corners. Double Z1 asks if the madman is the king in yellow. How did you guess? Man, that is incredible. Can't believe it. All right, as I said, we're going to take a look at a couple of old school essentials adventures from Swordlords Publishing in just a moment. But first, it's time for a quick intermission.
I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain.
But I only wanted it.
This mountain is reserved for patrons of drive-in theaters.
But
it's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar, like soft drinks, hot dogs, good hot coffee, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats.
But I am a patron of this drive-in.
Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest.
Ah, yes. Nothing like a quick intermission, eh? Just makes you want to go get, a candy bar or ice cream bar, something, popcorn, peanuts. I noticed quite a lot of the old, like, intermission cartoons. They're not even always cartoons. Some of them are actually film. A lot of times they talk about peanuts, and they showed, like, shelled peanuts at the concession stand, and it's like, what? Could you imagine sitting with, like, watching a movie with all these people opening peanuts? Be like, what the hell's going on? This about 92's like, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and have ourselves a treat. Yeah, I showed that one. That was the first one I showed. I am trying to track down a high definition version of the hot dog jumping into the bun. So Omenal says, not sure why they got rid of intermissions as they help sell concessions. Reason why there's no intermissions is you don't have double features anymore. That's what the intermission was. It was always between because normally, unless you were going to see like Gone with the Wind, normally you would actually go to the theater and they would have like the B movie and then the movie you were actually going to see. Plus, you would have, of course, coming attractions. Although prior to that, you usually got cartoons and newsreels. I do remember going to the theater and seeing cartoons before the show. So Omenal points out, yes, they had intermissions. Ben-Hur, Patton, Godfather, Lawrence of Arabia. That's another one that's got an intermission. Gone with the Wind has an intermission as well. But the vast majority of movies do not have an intermission. All right. So Joseph asked, how's the old ticker doing? Pretty good. I go see my cardiologist in May And then I go see my general practitioner. I go see her in April. So everything seems okay. I need to lose more weight. I put weight on not being able to walk outside in the crappy weather and stuff like that. So Sag says Gandhi in the 80s is the last intermission they remember. Yeah, that was another movie that did have an intermission. Yes. All right. So today I am going to be taking a first look and paging through two old school essentials adventures from Brad Kerr and Swordlords Publishing. First off, I'm going to take a look at Hideous Daylight. It is an adventure for lower level characters. I believe it's sort of like level 2. Written by Brad Kerr with artwork provided by Matt Stricker and Tyler Smith Owens. This 33-page adventure is available in softcover. It is an A5. It's included with the PDF from DriveThruRPG for $9.99. I believe you can also pick these up from Exalted Funeral for the same price. And you can grab the PDF alone for $5.99. So first we're going to jump into Hideous Daylight. Kind of wild looking cover art here. We've got these deer that are munching on a corpse. So Jason Bradley has joined us. Hiya, Jason. We have what looks to be the knight who was guarding the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail. We have like what looks to be like a tree made out of arms. It's pretty wild. There's nothing on the back. I just noticed that when I took these down. I have not taken a peek at this yet. Brad Kerr was kind enough to send both adventures for me to take a peek at and share with you. But I do also want to point out that no one here at the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. So, and you know what? It's important that you know that. Sometimes people email me and tell me how stupid it is that I say, oh, well, it's important you know that, nobody here's received any sort of compensation. And it's like, no, it's actually not. It's not stupid for me to tell you that because some people are getting paid to share stuff with you. I'm not. So Jason says carnivorous deer, always a telling sign about a forest. So I kind of understand a little bit of the background on this adventure as we jump on in here. So this is from 2020. Hideous Daylight is an adventure module for fantasy role-playing gamers. Oh, I'm sorry, fantasy role-playing games. Player characters will navigate a hex crawl sandbox in a walled garden environment while uncovering clues towards strange phenomenon affecting the land and its inhabitants. This module was written for low-level characters and requires Old School Essentials core rules, otherwise known as Old School Essentials Classic Fantasy. Players should have the expectation that not every combat encounter can be won with a head-on approach and that the threat of character death is real, thus it being old school. There are a number of ways in which this adventure might conclude based on the choices and actions of the players. Many of these outcomes are detailed in the follow-up section of this document. All right, so we get a breakdown of what's really going on. Here's a background. So, from my understanding, and this is because I read, this is a while back, I read the review of this over on 10 Foot Pole. And I guess the premise is that there's the Baron, I think it's a Baron, who has sort of this like walled garden. It's kind of like his hunting area. And the sun is not setting on it. So the sun doesn't go down. It just hovers over this enclosure, which is, I think, a few miles in length. In fact, let's see. Okay, so it's called Hollyhock Gardens. 1 hex, half mile. So it is 2.5 miles. Yep. So it's 2.5 miles around. So there's some discussion. Omanal says deer kill more people in the U.S. than all other animals. Yeah, mainly because we don't have hippos running wild. I think deer kill more people because people hit them with their cars. So there's Jason's Jason pointing out that deer have high dexterity, so their antlers would be a finesse weapon. So we had a discussion. What do the PCs know? I'm not going to take a look at each and every page. We're going to kind of jump through this a little bit. We're probably going to stumble across spoilers. So my apologies, but it looks like we get a little bit of a hex crawl and different locales with different things going on. I think this has, if I remember correctly from checking out the review, I think the review's like a year or two ago that I read it. But I seem to recall, I think there's like 2 dungeons in this. All right, so just kind of a breakdown at different locations. Okay, so here's the head. Okay, so we get a hedge maze. So we get one of those. Under the well, so that's one of the little dungeons here. Shadow demons. That's what it was. It was shadow demons all the time. So 32 pages here. So we have Under the Well, and I guess the hedge maze. Hey, it's just hedge magic. What can I tell you? So Omal says, "Oh, sorry, this is old school essentials, not Conan, where nat 20 means complications. 1 is a critical success." So we've got 2 small little dungeons with this, and this is supposed to be kind of a bizarre adventure from what I have heard, but I've heard it's very, very good as well. Next, we've got Temple of 1,000 Swords, also written by Brad Kerr. I believe this is for a little higher levels. I think this is for like level 3. And it's artwork's provided by Matt Stricker, Tyler Smith Owings, Ramon Perez Cano, and Brad Kerr. I think Brad Kerr does the cartography. This is a 25-page adventure. This is also available in softcover with PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $9.99. And you can grab the PDF for $5.99. Perkins Dearborn has joined us as well. Jason says, love the art. Yeah, the cover artwork on these is pretty cool. So I had also read a review of this a while back, and this is supposed to be like really, really focused on swords. Thus the title, Temple of 1,000 Swords. And we have like duck people in it, as you can see. You're going to be like, what? Wait, what? What is this? RuneQuest? Jason said it looks like a necromancer trying to have a game of Monopoly. Oh, damn it. Right, searching for swords. So now we've got 100 different swords here. So we've got an outside area here. I don't think there's any sort of hex crawl with this. I'm just trying to see here. I wonder, is this the whole thing? Maybe it is. Possible. So how many key locations we have? 19? But then we had an area outside. So it says T1. I guess it's just 1. So Owen says $5 is almost what the modules cost back in the early 80s. Yeah. I can't believe we used to go and pick up the micro games for micro gaming and metagaming. And if they were in the little Ziploc bag, like Car Wars was, people who argue with me that it was in a clamshell when it first came out, it was not. Clamshell didn't come until years after that game was out. Anyway, that's kind of cool art. Looks like a lot of swords. But they were like $2.95. Granted, you had to sit there and you had to cut the counters apart with scissors, but still. All right, so we got the different locales. One more sword before you go. All right, and then we get an open game license. So this is 24 pages. Sweet. So we got Temple of 1,000 Swords and Hideous Daylight. These are both written by Brad Kerr, and they are from Swordlords Publishing, which does not have a website, unfortunately. So that's why I put DriveThruRPG on the image we were taking a peek at with both of these. I will have reviews of these in the very near future. I will probably review these separately and just have them as relatively short reviews. All right, let's move on over to the other camera. So Jason's talking about Ogre. Yes, I remember playing Ogre. I remember one of the first Steve Jackson games I picked up was, I got one page bulge. And the funny thing is I ordered them and I'm trying to, I don't have a clue where I actually got it. Maybe it was in Dragon Magazine or something. But I ordered one page bulge, Raid on Iran, and there was another one. It was a science fiction game that I got. But it wasn't Ogre, it wasn't GEV or anything like that. But yeah. I had like Melee Wizard. I had the little box adventures that they came out with, where they had the prizes. They had the, what was it, Gold Dragon, and then there was a silver, I think it was a unicorn. And the Gold Dragon was found. And if I remember correctly, they don't think that the silver unicorn was ever found, because the adventure supposedly had clues so you could find the treasure in real life. And it's like, I have no idea. I'm sure they were relatively obscure to try to find it. All right. That is it for this time out. Wow. Damn fast show tonight. Yikes. Death Test 1 and 2. That I did not have. I did not have Death Test 1 and 2. Another very cool game, and it was, last I saw, it is available absolutely free for download, and that was Barbarian Prince, which was a solitaire game, and essentially you had a map that you would traverse this hex map, and you were trying to recruit an army to reclaim your throne, because you would have been usurped and exiled, and you only have a certain amount of time to raise an army and return to the city. And that was a tough game. It was a little like kind of create your own adventure-ish. Station Sector Solo Pocket Adventure. That one I am not familiar with. Jason says, always been fun. Loves the rapport in this channel. Yeah, for the most part, everybody's pretty cool, pretty nice. The gents don't have to bust out the band hammer too often, so that's cool. Gotta like that as well. All right, tomorrow we are going to be taking a look at Starfighter Alien Archives 1 and 2 battle cards. There are supposed to be over 200 or 200. Is it over or 200? So it says 315 cards. But if it's any of the other battle cards, some of them have more than one card, some creatures or whatever. I think it's 200. I think it's 200 creatures from volumes 1 and 2 of the Alien Archives. So we'll be taking a look at that tomorrow. Jason Bradley says, most obscure Games Workshop product, Daleks and Cybermen box set. I had those. I had the old Doctor Who role-playing game. I had the, who made it? It had, I'm trying to remember who was the publisher on it. I had the Tom Baker Doctor Who board game, which was super lame, super boring. But I actually, because I got my nephew Cameron. This is a few years back. I got him in Doctor Who. That was right when David Tennant was the new Doctor. I got him into that, and then I actually bought him a copy of the old Tom Baker game. Jason says, yep, Tom Baker on the cover. Yes, he was. He was on the cover. And like I said, I can't remember who published it. I don't know if it was Games Workshop or somebody else. Because if I remember right, I think it was from the UK. I don't think the game was here in the US. All right. Anyway, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube, but it'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my review of Old School Essentials, the Classic Rules Tome, Classic Fantasy. That's right. This is one of my more recent reviews. Just talked about a couple of OSE adventures. Check out the core rulebook from Necrotic Gnome. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you were watching live, thank you very much. Always dig when people are catching the show live. If you took part in chat, that's the bonus round because you're keeping me company and engaging each other as you discuss talking to yourself, which I don't really do much. I do talk to the cats though. But I don't carry on a conversation with the cats. I just will like comment to the cats. I've always done that. Anywho, if you watched live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, big thumbs up. But of course, I know a lot of people out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter how you're watching videos on the channel. Be live, could be on Memorex. Doesn't matter. I certainly appreciate everybody taking time out just to check out any of these videos on the channel. Of course, I will be back tomorrow. And here's hoping each and every one of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Catch you later. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.